Hi there. I used to ride, and I haven't really owned a motorcycle in years, but I hang on to the helmet not so much to remind me of the motorcycle, but because it looks like a space helmet, and I'm into vents. This one has a vent in front, and it reminds me of the whole Gemini and Apollo era. And that's kind of where we're at in the book. We're going to do a reading today, continuing in chapter 6. So pick it up where we left off. So I accidentally broke his model. My mom helped me fix it. I told her, "You saved my life." "I probably did. This will be our little secret," she says, smiling and winking at me. And then she puts the model back in its place by the television. All this took place right before the real Apollo 11 took off from Cape Canaveral. And now, a few days later, Neil Armstrong is preparing to be the first man to walk on the moon. My family gathers in front of the new TV John bought just for this occasion. We have some guests over to watch this historic event with us, which makes the evening extra special. Everyone in the world wants to witness this with their own eyes, but no one more than me. I may be only 8 years old, but I've wanted to be an astronaut my whole life. We watch in awe as Neil Armstrong finally begins to descend the ladder. I'm enthralled by the fuzzy images on the TV and longing to be a part of history. Then Walter Cronkite says, "Armstrong is on the moon. The 38-year-old American is on the surface of the moon." Oh, how I wish it was my foot touching the moon. Oh, how I wanted to be the one to say, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Oh, how I wanted everyone to be cheering for me. I'm mesmerized by the grainy images of the bulky astronauts bouncing lightly on the moon's surface. I've never been so inspired or believed more in the future of humanity as I did in that moment. I can't contain my excitement and my determination any longer. "I will be an astronaut when I grow up," I announced to everybody in the room, standing up proudly. "That'll never happen," John says. "You'll only make it as far as ass." Ouch, it hurt. An uppercut to my self-confidence. So much for swagger. My eyes well up. I drop my head. People are laughing because it was clever, and we are required to laugh whenever John says anything remotely funny. I'm beyond embarrassed and run to my room and cry my eyes out. I take a break, open my eyes, and let them adjust to the room I'm actually sitting in. Robin looks up and smiles, her pen poised above her notes. "Since we still have time, I wonder if you wouldn't mind changing gears for me." Oh God, she's going to ask how I'm adapting to the situation. I don't even want to go there yet, even though there's been some unexpected beautiful moments. The wounds are still too fresh. The pain is still too constant. "Sure," I say, sitting up and crossing my arms. "Let's revisit Cliff's garage and continue on that. How did you put it? Adventure? Did I put it that way? Or did my mother? Both of you, at one point or another. We left off just before your birthday." Immediately, I'm relaxed again. I count a few remaining leaves on the tree out the window, and I unfold my arms, look at Robin, and smile. My 13th birthday. It's a funny story. "Tom," she says, before I continue, "you've done a great job coping with some very challenging situations with your sense of humor. You have an entertaining way of remembering your family, even though you experienced more than your fair share of trauma. It's tempting to laugh these experiences off without actually processing the emotional burden they impart. You're deflecting with humor. People hide from traumatic circumstances in other ways too, with drugs and alcohol, fixations, antisocial behavior, addictions, and more. Sometimes I think you believe your past no longer affects you, when in fact it does, significantly. I must be exceptionally good at deflecting because I use all those techniques. That's what I'm thinking to myself. When you really come to peace with your past, you're able to embrace your full emotional potential with no boundaries. Well, that does sound amazing, but what's wrong with accepting your baggage and storing it under your bed for your next trip? Humor has helped me process a ton of feelings. It makes some of the heavier shit lighter, and it's easier to let go of. I've forgiven Mare for everything. I hold no grudges. That takes too much energy. You forgive her for abandoning you? Of course, ditching me in Cliff's garage isn't the worst thing she's done. At the time, it definitely blew chunks and it was a major mindfuck. But looking back, the focus isn't on how uncomfortable or painful it was. It's on the quirky ridiculousness of it all. Besides, I can't change the past, so why wallow in it? If nothing else, Mare made things interesting. She kept us on our toes. If I ever want to write a book, she gave me plenty of material. That's a very admirable attitude to have. Considering the circumstances you've been confronted with, you exhibit exceptional strength. Good for you. Should I mention how I smoke pot to cope with my anxiety attack? Or the pills I take every night because I don't sleep good at night? Oh, please, stop it some more. She laughs. This part of the story is a real cliffhanger, isn't it? It literally is. How about that? See? My mother's the gift that keeps on giving. Robin flips a page. Chris and her friends are taking you out to lunch. I close my eyes and I think about the cement tables and benches they had out front and how even in December, if the sun was out, they collected enough heat to stay warm. We'll stop there today. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you on next Tuesday's edition of Page Turning Tuesdays with Tom. Bye now.